I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CT Review. Today is February 9, Monday, 2026. Hope you had a good day and a good weekend here. So we discussed last week we discussed here that we would, kind of get this structure down, get into that inefficiency possibly, take out these lows. And then when we're bullish, yes, I know we came down a lot, but that doesn't mean that we were still 100% bearish, right? But then we discussed this understanding, and excuse the demo mode thing. Hopefully you don't see that today because I didn't pay for it, but they asked just to update it. So I don't know if that makes any help here. But anyways, we made this video on Thursday, which was last the 5th, and then expected to come back in. So you can see us already tackling that gap, getting a body there, plus that inefficiency in the pink. And then I said, are we going to buy from below this low or above it? Didn't matter, but that was the understanding. And we didn't rush through it either. If you've got experience in all these cycles, you'll know that it's like, well, you'll know if it's, it'll flow like it's bearish if it's going to be bearish. But we understand that the seasonality in the what do you call it? In the 5, 15, and 30 year, specifically more of the 15 and the 30 year, we have a seasonal tendency to buy. And if you go watch these previous videos, I was saying that it's if it's the what did I say? If it was the 15 and the 30 year, it was gonna buy soon. I made this video on the 5th, so I said 5th, 6th, we should be buying. If it's the 15 and 30 year, sure enough, that's what we did. We turned around all the way. You can't make this up. Like you can't make this up. To like I'm drawing it, and here you go. Right there. So you get the drives down, pretty much what that is, what it is, and then it's buying above that low here, and then straight up, right? And okay, if you're new, I've been doing this for years, and you can attest to anybody who's been watching this channel for a long time. I've been doing this for years, where I'm calling it out in this manner. Well, we got the dump, and then here, then we get the the little higher low, and we are now in this area, right? So do we continue from here? We have to continue with more options and data and understanding, but that's just the logic of that, right? So that's how I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not like, I can't be a genius, not to that degree. So that's what I'm using, okay? And then on top of that, what was I gonna say here? I talked about, and I didn't draw this at the time, but I was like, you got a suspension bearish block here, right here, because it's got a gap in the top, gap on the bottom. It's a bearish imbalance, but you got to include the gap. So it's high probability that we'll go into there. Now I got this measured to, I know there's a lot of shit here, so I just wanted to show you the understanding here. I got this measured here, this entire range, and it's quadded. Well, when we bought on Friday, okay, and by the way, if you go look at the community tab post, I didn't make a video on Friday, but I put it in the community tab post where I'm showing you the range from this high to this low of Friday, and then we're dipping back into 50% of the range. I'm sorry, that wasn't the high. This was the last week's high right there. This was Tuesday. Tuesday last week made the high of the week. So from there to there, go take a look at it. You'll see it. And we bought back up to wipe out about 50% of the candle, of last week's candle. Okay, that's what we did when we came back up and closed. We gapped up and then we came down. Now we got some imbalances here. I didn't draw it on the hour, but I should, just to show you. And then we're expecting pretty much higher prices. So we open up and we tag the first imbalance of Wednesday, and then that's a breakout area as well. You can see this. We already tag it. I do have, again, now I have that daily bearish imbalance highlighted. And then if you take a look at the reason why I was mentioning this range, because that's technically the range that you're in as well, the best buys will be underneath that 25 bottom percent, obviously the low of it, but that's what this this big quadded level, trust me, I know there's a lot of shit, just don't get lost here. We already got into this 101.5 when I used that projection on the 4 hour. I was just using the bodies. I'm trying not to recap here, but as you see, we get the structure from Friday pretty nice and easy, to be honest. And then pushing up, and then anything. Look where that quad is. See how we bought on Friday, where we bought below, got into that imbalance, sitting on that gap here, old gap, and then the first imbalance is holding the price action from Thursday's first imbalance. We're holding the bodies. Take a look at it. I mean, you can't make this up. It's sitting in the bodies, right? Yeah, the wicks are coming outside and this and that, but. And then we have a first imbalance for Friday, and we end up using that as support as well. Go do the research. That's why I said in the video. The reason why I'm saying all this is to frame today. Well, we're already pushing up, and we're trying. I made it very clear. I said, when I'm drawing this example, I'm also. Why am I doing that? Well, because of the fact that we came down and we took out all this liquidity. Who's in the game now? I mean, in the near term, it was all this sellers and all this easy selling, and I made that very clear in the video. And I also, again, I didn't draw it here on the daily imbalance, but I said you were gonna draw. I should have, but I was busy, forgot to do it. But I mentioned it. I was like, we're gonna come right back in here. We did that. So it's just what what we're doing here, and what's the point of this conversation also is that when we gapped up. We made this high. We took out this breakout level here from this. Boom. Bust right through, right? And all this liquidity here. And then we retrace back for a higher low. Get into this late buyers here. Get into this imbalance. And then we're looking to take off. You got lower lows here. It's just the last final raid. And then it pops up. So keeping this simple is that could have this bought. This is a dump and pump profile. So 9:30 we open up. We have the gap here of the opening range that's empty. We immediately sell off, and they're just hunting this low here, right? But it's still bullish. And then you will see on a 15-minute, if you refine this imbalance on the 1 hour here. This is that Friday's 11 a.m. You'll be able to refine it. I'm not even going to draw it. This 11 a.m. first 15-minute imbalance. You know what? I'm going to fucking draw it. I don't know what else I can do here. People are like, dude, just draw it. Because I'm trying to avoid having to do this right now. Fuck my life. Let's see here. Hold on. All right. My mouse is tweaking. I don't understand it. And you'd think I'd get a new one by now, but I'm just like for some reason trying to expect that it's gonna keep working. Anyways, so we had this low, this pre New York low and pre New York high, right? So you want to frame that. The algorithm is going to open up and hunt one of these pieces of liquidity. Generally speaking, we are looking at it in a bullish scenario with the seasonal behind us, and then you'll see that, for example, S&P did not take out that low, right? So we did have a divergence here. Where are you? We had a divergence here with a higher low for S&P, and then we had lower lows with Dow and Nas, and Nas took out the low. I mean, that's what it is. So as you can see, they can do either. But what's the point? The point is that regardless if it takes it out or not, we're looking to now. This was in Friday. We were in a reversal. Look at the 4 hour. So the candles coming down, the candles coming up. So on the 4 hour, you can see that we have an inversion here. I didn't draw that, but if you drag it out, and if you did, you look to the right here, you'll see that we're tapping that as well. We're also on the right side of the curve where you have this 4 hour imbalance of Friday, which is the 10 a.m. We are sealing that here at the present time of this, between this 5 something in the morning Eastern time and 9:30. So it's sitting inside that area, and that means it's time to turn around. It's a very beautiful day, if you ask me. The profile is, retracing, taking out the Asia lows in the opening and getting into this area, and then That's your retracement. The next phase is going to be an expansion. It's just a drive, another drive back. That's what this is on the 1 minute. And then you'll see here that we're tapping it. We get this 931 candle. So this 931 candle ends up closing a bullish candle. If it was going to be selling and it was going to be bullish, you're not going to generally see a bullish candle. And if you do, that means this next candle is coming down, which is, I'm speaking of 932. It should have been a bearish candle. If they wanted to tap into this imbalance and then sell back in, you generally don't want to see bodies closing inside it. And if it does, the lower upper quadrant, the 25% to the 50% lower quadrant, you don't want to see bodies in there. If you take a look just very clearly, it's a dump and pump, right? You already are in a retrace here. This 930 open is the retrace, the final retrace, and they just making sure they tag them before they go up there. And then the expansion is follows, and you're going to see these higher highs and higher lows with the candles. Look, I don't have to draw it. This is an inversion. I have it drawn. It's to the outside here. And you'll see that, for example, you're like, oh, well, it could have still sold from there. It's a bearish imbalance, and that's a breakout area. Why wouldn't it just sell back off? Well, it could have, but do you see any bodies down here? No. Okay, so that's the point. Do I keep moving this around too much? Then the 933, it's coming down. It's a bold-faced bearish candle. You're like, oh, shit, I'm missing the sell. Comes right back up. You should not see this candle close and be up here. Okay, let's just say you still didn't know. Okay, look at the 934. 934 opens, pops up, hits the 25, tags it, and closes bearish. You're like, okay, it'll be like that other day where we sold off, which was, I believe, that was this day right here, Wednesday of last week. Go take a look at that. So if you're thinking that, you might be thinking that, I don't know, but hold on a second. So yeah, so then it tags at 25%, but then this 935 comes down, bold face bearish candle, right? And you can see it tags the low of that inversion, and then it snaps back. Notice where are the bodies inside that inversion. They're up here. They're not down here. They're wicks. Next, 936. Play by play here, right? 936. It hits the 50% of this even down wick, and testing the bodies of the consecutive bodies here, because you don't have a closure yet. This 937 closes above. That's a change of delivery. But before this, I get into this. Let's go back to this. 936 wicks. It's like, okay, what are we doing, right? You can see the higher lows, and you can, if you understand the framework, but it's okay. I'm not saying that you had to push buy yet. I'm just saying that the clues are happening. So, and if that's an entry model on your own where it's a rate and it's an inversion, fine. Then you could have pushed buy, anytime after the closure above, which we'll consider it, we'll say it's the 935, or if you want to use the 50%, that's however you do it. I mean, people do it differently. But okay, so then let's take a look at this. This 937 pops straight up. It's like, okay. All right. Well, now, at this point, if you're selling off, it should be selling off. And then someone might say, well, dude, that was a lower low. That's a lower high. That's a lower low. And if we bought up here and just swept this, that's a lower high. Yes, that's true. But are we bearish? No, we're not. We're not. I mean, we're not. I mean, you get a response like this, and I didn't even show, where the hell is this? I didn't mention it Friday because I didn't make a video, but I mean, look at the response here already with the NVIDIA, for example. Like that's fucking massive, right? Dirty. Take this low out, building super liquidity, and then okay. And just so you know, even when in the past when I was mentioning that this is a breakout area, and if we're bearish, we're going to come down here and attack this. Yeah, that's great. Can we still do it right now? Maybe, but at the same time, did it go there? No. right? Friday has a huge bounce back, right? So at the same time, we still have to consider it being bullish. So I'm saying these little clues because it's like, okay, well, let me get back to this so you can understand it. This is how I make long videos long. This candle, this 937, in general speaking, and it closes strong like that, that's not really bearish. Now this 938, it should have really came down. Big candle, type of thing. If it was going to be a lower low, to make a lower low, right? And we were at a lower high. Okay, fine. But now this 938, this candle pops and it stops right there. And it's sitting on the 25%, right? You can see that, right? Sitting at that 25%. Look what the 939 does. Boom. Bust through. Now, right now, I don't care who you are, what you think, what you say, what frame of logic you use. It's buying, right? There's no fucking question. But what happens if this 939 is pushing up and I push buy here? Notice now we have a confirmation pretty much that it's buying in a way, right? Where do you think it's going? Obviously for the pre New York high, right? The pre-session high, and plus obviously to the left the lower highs that it built and the high of day that it made, right? We expect this to be the low of day if it's a bullish day, obviously, right? And the average daily range was I think 700 to 800 points, but a low hanging fruit is 300 to 400 points. Let's just say even half of the number I gave you, right? Where would that be? Well, the low here that it made was at 950. Let's just say 950, an even number. Well, 350. Okay, no, 250 would be 300 points. That's right here, my level here. Look to the left. All this in liquidity. What would be another 100 points? 350, which is what we're sitting at now. No, I'm sorry. This high right here, this 450. This 350 level. This 350 plus the 950, that's 400 points, right? So that being using the average daily range in the structure, we're just talking about this scenario being bullish. And then notice again, magically that you pushed buy as a momentum trade, and the reason why they come back to it. Oh, you see how they come back to it? Why do they come back to it like that? Because you knew that it was buying from this point, this level. See, as it's pushing up, you knew it was buying. So then we have a first imbalance here, which is the 939 candle. We dip in it, right? Top 25%, whatever. This is the opening week gap. They want to go, and remember, we're below the midnight open and we're below the open of today's gap, right? So anything below it is great for buys. And then once it crosses over, they're shaking out because once they go above, people are pushing buy. They slam it back down because A, you knew it was buying here. B, they built the liquidity before it went outside of the gap, and they're coming back in for good measure because they know A, you were buying here, and B, they knew that you knew that it was buying here. And where did they snap to? The 50% perfectly. Do you see that? If you watched it, it snapped right to it. Buyers and sellers are not doing that, people. Period. They're just not doing that, right? And anyways, and that is the first imbalance. So you are not having any bodies below that 50%. Yes, it looks nasty with this, especially with this candle. It's 1002. So it's coming below. Wicks there, comes back up. Wicks bouncing on it. This pushes up, slams back down. It's 1002. This 1002 is dirty. I ain't gonna lie. This shit right here made you not even want to stay in the trade or buy it if you were. And sure enough, again, sitting on that 50%. The 1003 then pushes back up. It's like, okay, what the fuck are we gonna do, guys? Right? But then what happens? 1004. Look at this. 1004 pushes up. If you're selling, it shouldn't be up here, right? Okay. So someone is then pushing buy, right? Comes up, says, oh, by the way, that tagged the midnight level, right? Pushes up, and even before I even get there, I'm measuring the bodies only here on the down candles, and you can see my projections: 1 to 1.5, 2 to 2.5, 3.5 to 4. Oh, you don't say. And also, by the way, I am measuring this on a 1 hour. It was Yeah. So um I'm measuring the down candles, the 1 hour, from the wick to the wick of the 1 hour. And I just left it at that. It looks weird on the 15 minute, but I'm just letting you know that's how I was measuring it. And then you can see -1 here. We came to that at once we opened up for the week, and then we went right to that, right? I want to make sure I say that. And then again, not to bounce around, but this 25% here, remember those buys are happening here. We came up to that because we're in that. I'm measuring that range. You can see this is extra credit. I'm measuring that 50% right here, which we tagged on today. All right, which I'm early of the week. And then when we retrace, if I was to quad this again, all right, that means if I was to put another line in the middle, all right, from the 50% to the 25%, I'm not going to do it. I ain't got time for that, but I'm going to eyeball it. If that's the middle, you would call it an eighth. If it's in the middle, look to the right. Look to the right. Look where we are buying from, underneath the level that I'm faking it of this eighth. Look, see this here, right here. See that? Why? You want a discount, right? So if you quad this is, you're not expecting it to come all the way back to here. Okay, it's myopic understanding. But in general, with the eighth measured here, look to the right. Notice how it's going underneath that, and then where are they attacking? They're looking for an imbalance like this, right? See that? See on the 1 hour right there? And I could have drawn it. I should have drawn it, but if I drew it on the 1 hour, then you look on the 15-minute, it's refined, and that's what I'm showing you here. Okay, so it's not a big deal, but I'm just trying to give you the logic and a super fire game here. So at the 50%, I'm not 50%. At this eighth level that I'm magically eyeballing, we are below it buying it, and you want to look to a bullish tool that you're going to use to buy with, either a down candle, a bullish imbalance, an inversion. See, these things are all now coupled. I mean, dude, what I'm giving you is fire, right? So that's the logic, right? And then we bought back up. So you know, obviously in a general world, you're going to want to see the price action come to about 70%, between 70 and 75% of the range. Why? Because not just because of a fib, but because of the fact that we are in this range, and they want to look for liquidity in that 70% area, right? Which in this case, 75% area, right? Okay, I'm veering off, but okay. So when it's pushing up like this, 10:04, 10:05, it's pushing up. We come up above that midnight level. It's in the orange right there, right? Yeah, I like teaching. I do like teaching. It is what that's what it is. I don't like to make long videos though. So, and I appreciate the people who are patient and understand that it's no problem. You're getting free game anyway, right? So you're just like, yo, dude, keep talking, right? So it's all good. I don't want to make my days long because I have to be somewhere. And then we tap in that imbalance. And then we push and we come right back right into that, and we don't go any deeper. No bodies in the bottom half. And this is a suspension block, so it's a high probability block. Could they have leaked into this? Maybe, but it's just not probable. This is pretty good here, and they induced a little swing low to rate it. Same here. Swing low, induce the swing low right here, and then they rate it. So that's when you generally want to pick up the new higher low to buy up. This is a dump pump profile, and then it turns into a buy, sell, buy. If you've been watching my videos, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're new, rewind what I just said. And then so that's the point here of me discussing this, is because once we measure this, we get to a 1 and 1.5. We retrace back close to the breakout area. They didn't want to be perfect, and that's fine. Then we push up to a 2 to 2.5. Oh, fire, right? Retraces back in where? Oh, back into the 1 and 1.5. Write that down. Okay, this is a beautiful day, just so you know. And I'm not trying to tell you that trading's easy, and this was easy or anything, but it was easy. So if you got experience, you've seen this. This is beautiful. You're in an expansion phase. So anyways, and that's why you get a candle like this. It's 1030, just straight up. No, you can't even get in. It's locked, buddy. Then it comes back and it bounces right on that imbalance right there, using that imbalance right there. And then uses this imbalance, pops up into, let me see if I can kind of do this. Yeah. Remember that 3.5 to 4 though. Don't forget. Don't forget about that 3.5 to 4. We made it to it. We made it to it, buddy. So bounce. Oh shit! I didn't even do that. To the tick, 50%. Bounces on this one. Bounces on this one. Uses that one. I could have even drawn more, and I didn't. Could have drawn one there. This bounces there, and then you get kind of a break here. So low makes a high, breaks it, makes a lower high, structure, lower low, lower high, then slams. I was not watching the chart here, so I didn't get to see this live, but slam right into what? Well, it becomes a point where it's breakout levels now, right? So it's like, okay, well, we had this high, we break through it, support. Now you have this high, you break through it, come back, support. You have this high here, you break through it, you come back, it's support. And then you do it again here, right? So bust through, easy support resistance logic, support. And then they're looking to get some of that liquidity. Where did they come to? They came back into this imbalance right here, right? Now that's just was the logic here because, well, I could draw I could drag over the first imbalance of Thursday. And misses it by some ticks, but and we busted through that, right? Look how the 50% right there, the body's sitting right there. You think that's random? No way. Bounces up, and they're coming close, not trying to be perfect or whatever. And there was another thing I wanted to say about being perfect or not. We ended up selling off right there, but I was gonna say something. I meant to say it earlier. Yeah. So for example, when we broke through and they came back, when they hit this level, that was perfect, right? But the algorithm is generally, in a sense, perfect, but they are designed to also not be perfect, all right? And an example would be, in this case, this was not perfect, like sealing it, this breakout area right here, for example, tapping back the open of the gap, right? Of the current week. Yeah, like that's a moment where it's not perfect. Like if you have nothing on the chart, you could still have this logic with the imbalance. You could have drew it yourself. But what I'm telling you is that there's times where it is perfect, like right there when it tagged it, and then there's times where it's not perfect, which is something like this. So that being said, this is also an example. It's shooting back down, and then it missed that inversion. I can quad this bearish imbalance as well. I'm talking too much, but and then what do you call it? It turns into a birdie day. If you've been following my channel, you know what that is. It's basically like, you're in an expansion phase and then you're just getting higher lows. You're not looking for sells to pull back unless you're just buying selling a pullback, and you know it's a counter trend and you know that you're going to turn around and buy it. That's the only way. Otherwise, these are all higher lows. Comes back for some sense for a higher low. We're knocking on this overbought for a long time. We come back down. We get to oversold outside of the oversold, and they're using this to tag it. And then what do? We make a new high, right? We're in that 3.5 to 4 here. Look at the oh boy. Previously, look at this. Can't make that up, right? I gotta be done. I gotta go. Look at this -4. Look to the right. Look at the high of the day at this, when it was the high of the day at 12:12. Look at the high. Look at the high. You think that's random? It's the same fucking level. So they come back and retrace with the drives. 1, 2, 3. Fine, right? We'll just call it 2, and then pushes up for a new high, and it's just closing, settling. So I gotta move forward, but hopefully you're understanding what I'm telling you here with this quad here. It's a little bit much for me. I might leave it, but I just don't want to. I don't want it to be too dirty, but I also want to keep explaining myself. So in general sense, I want to see this bearish inversion. I want to. I'm sorry, the bearish imbalance. Right now, it's still a bearish imbalance, but I want to see it get used as some type of support to where we, and we got CPI this week on Friday. It's going to be interesting, but do we push up to get these highs here? So look, sitting down, I'm like, okay, well, where is the draw likely to be on the weekly? What are we gonna go attack? Well, you can quad this, and I didn't want to do that because it'd be too much, but you can also, I'll move it for now. I'll move it. So this is, now I'm quadding the week is disappeared, but you can see it here on. So we're quadding this wick. And we're bullish right now, so we didn't even come to the bottom. We didn't come to the top 25% of that wick, but you're gonna look out for that. If we come down, we're gonna see if we're gonna use this. And then here's 50% of that wick. Does it want to, so when I'm looking at this chart, when I start the week, okay, well, there's the high and there's the low. Which one do you think is it gonna go for? If it's hard to determine right now, it looks like it's fucking dead center because we are a little bit neutral at the moment. Because we did break this, and is this a lower high? Can it roll over? Yeah, it could. And this is where we're gonna determine where the market's gonna go in general speaking. But if it's coming to the downside, then I'm gonna say that low, that 25%. If it wants to stretch, maybe it'll come out to this breakout area where we bought easily on Friday, and we hit this 50%. Okay. All right. So now that you heard that, let me put it back. So now that you heard that, I don't want to draw both. It'll look crazy on my chart right now, right? So now that I've made that, here's the swing from there to there. And in a bullish scenario, I want to stay above this 50%. This made eighth fake center here. This bottom 25%, I'm going to want to see it. If it does tap, then it'd have to bounce right the fuck back up. Seasonal data shows that we're literally going to plow through buying up. I don't expect it to come any lower here or even lower than here. This is just a swing low that it put. And then I expect it to just rush for this liquidity here, right? And all the shit I just said with the 75% up here, and so on. So that's kind of like what I'm using. Also, by the way, before I leave here, you can see that when I had this daily imbalance, this December 19th, that when we were above it here, below it, above it, right here, we sold off here on the 4th, of February, right? Look where we sold from it, pretty much, right? So it became an inversion instead of being a bullish, and it's just a little extra credit, but I'm gonna want to see us use that again to be bullish again. All right, I know that sounds like, dude, there's so many levels. How can I do this? Well, you refine everything, use what works. You'll see sometimes it working and it might not be working. But and if you don't look that far, you can just use it what's currently in your face just to help. All right, if that makes sense for you. So, anyways, and this is fractal. So, just like this time frame here. Look at the 4-hour. See this reversal here? It's a reversal. So it's an expansion with an expansion. Write that down if you're new. That's one of the phases is reversal, expansion. See how, what's the difference there with the daily? Well, you have an expansion with an expansion, so that could be our reversal on the daily. But if I go even a step farther, look at what we did here. Are you going to tell me that's not the same pattern? And I'm not talking about trading for pattern's sake. I'm talking about context. That's the same idea right here. This framework right here is literally the same framework over here to the left of the chart. What did you do? You took out liquidity to the left. You reversed. You had inversions. You had bullish imbalances to the right of the curve. What do you got here? You took out liquidity on the 1 minute. You took out liquidity. You have inversions here. You had no bullish imbalances, and that's why it wasn't fun to try to buy this. But if it did, that would be logic. And if you didn't have a bullish, you just use that inversion or the structure of higher, low. I mean, I don't have to draw it, but you can see the structure. You can see it. All right, you can see it. I'm gonna draw it real quick. See that? I know this is probably overkill. I know. I have to step away from making videos or something. Right? You see that? I mean, Okay. So that's fractal. I wanted to make sure I said that. And, oh my God, keep going, buddy. Jesus, 34 minutes. VIX coming down. That means we're popping up. Dollar coming down. Helpful for us to pop back up. I said the whole higher low here. You had another confirmation here with Dow making another lower low. So that's another divergence. So this is your, some people call this a double confirmation, a double divergence. Whatever, whatever you want to call it. But that's explaining that there. Move forward, buddy. Look at Dow, all time highs hitting over to 50,000, buddy. Wow, man. Let me tell you, bro. I remember trading this bitch in the 20s. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 50,000, buddy. So that was the thing about Dow. It's because it's like, okay, dude, like this isn't pretty to try to keep buying, but notice how I said, well, with it being high resistance like this, it's generally suspect to come down, but at the same time, we're still fucking bullish. And, and I've been saying that, and that's why this is the flexibility. If you watch all these videos in the past weeks, like, even though I can say that we're bearish, I'm expecting bearish price action. I also need to see follow through with that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I need to have them prove that. And I also said, oh, we might be here. It looks like this, right? But guess what? We didn't follow through with this low. So yeah, I said we swept this, and this could be lower low, lower high. It looked like that for a moment, but at the same time, those were just internal lows. So we didn't come outside its range. I didn't get a gap down. Friday didn't continue lower. Friday was also an engulfing pull, push back. Look at this candle, for example. This is a Friday too, which is funny. Look how smaller the candle is. There's no, like, it didn't pop up all the way back, right? And here, it didn't fucking engulfed. All right, so these little things is telling you, okay, well, we're gonna probably push back up. Now it ain't over yet. We're getting a closure here. Well, we gotta see some follow through. And could it turn into this? Absolutely. But I mean, you just gotta take it day by day. But you have to be flexible and not married. So I wasn't the guy that, there's people, I used to be in the beginning, but there's people who are like, yo, we're bearish, we're coming down to here. I don't care, I'm selling the house. And it's like, yo, why? Listen, I don't need to be, why did I draw this? If I said I was, I see bearish price action, but I understand that it's why would I even consider this option? Remember that. See, this is experience talking. Another motherfucker is like, yo, no, man, we're gonna make this lower high. We're gonna roll right through 100%. We come in, and he's married to doing it, and he's killing himself on his account, or her, right? So I cannot be 100% bearish if I'm drawing this example, right? I do know what it looks like if it's not bearish. So that's just, I hope I'm not being a dead horse, but that's very important, man, because I remember I used to fuck myself in the beginning of trading because I was like, yeah, we're sinking to hell. It's just like, dude, who cares? Just follow the order flow. Keep moving. So really big expansion. I mean, dude, if that doesn't tell you we're bullish, I don't know what does with Dow. I mean, fucking Jesus. A nice dump and pump there. Shakeout. Look at this. Why the fuck you want to trade this? Look at this. Look. Up. Down, up, down, up again, down, up, and then you get the bearish. I mean, by then you're like, fuck, we're selling. Then reverses, right? An expansion with an expansion, right? Big boner count. That right there is telling you. And then it comes right back up, man. So it's like, oh my God. It's sitting there tagging the 50. So, which was nice. But I mean, look at the price action though, man. Like, why the fuck you want to do that? Why you want to deal with it? No, just don't. S&P, again, with the response and bounce back, dude. Like, that's pretty major. Now, guess what? It's a moment like this where they could pull the rug. I'll be real honest with you, because just like when you saw last year, right? Just when you saw last year, it's like right here. Like we could be in this scenario where we make a new high or we're pushing up and everyone's just like, yeah, we're good, right? And then fucking drop it on their ass, right? So we're headed for, but I would say it's not these next 10 days. These next 10 days, seasonal data wise, from 15, 5-year, and 30-year are literally, and I told you guys, I said this, I said the 5 and the 30 and the 15-year are going to buy soon, 5th and the 6th. I said today was the 5th. I made that on the 5th. Go watch the 5th video, right? On the 5th video, all right? And what did we do? We bought, because the data is showing that. Now the 5-year, I said it was going to come back down more and be buying around the 10th, the 9th, 10th. Do you remember me saying that? 9th, 10th. Well, guess what? It's fucking 8th, 9th, and 10th now. So let me draw this. I have beat a dead horse for sure. Now, if it's the 5, if it's the 15 and 30-year, dude, I'm just gonna say, who knows, but we're going straight up like this, right? Okay, we're literally going straight up. Cool. All right, that's it. Up until like until next week, until the 15th, and then we'll probably sell off again, right? Because this is we're looking for external liquidity, come back in for internal liquidity, meaning make a high and come back for a higher low. Simple as that. Now, if it's the 5-year, then what am I doing? Yeah, man, I'm tired. We still buy up. Okay, well, there's two options for the 5-year. So I don't know if this is the case, but it's either gonna come, really deeper, like into this, or even fucking here, which I know that sounds not even logical. I don't see this happening. So I'm just gonna say like right here, but and then we pop straight the hell up, and then from there it actually comes all the way back down if we're bearish. Okay, but it comes all the way back. But I won't even go into that. I'm just gonna mention that here. So 15 and 30-year are technically not coming back this deep. And that's really it. And then I'm going to discuss what happens in 5 days from now, where we'll come back, we'll make a top here, and then we'll sell back off. God damn it, I've said a lot. But again, it's like, okay, well, you've done this, you broke structure in a way. Is this going to be a lower high where we start coming down? And it's that the last year's drop that I mentioned, right? This is a perfect time to do where everybody thinks it's optimistic, where it bought right back up. Right? That's psychology involved. So, hey, I'm just talking loosely here. And look at that. I measured that. Okay. Anyways, what did they do here? Same principle. Again, they didn't take out their low, but they took out this internal low. They squeezed everybody out right here into this, from this inversion, this little bust here, and then little inversion there. This is 1 minute, so little inversion there. You can't even really see it. We pop up. It's pretty much an engulfing, right, with 2 candles on that one candle. Bounces. That's the pullback. Last pullback, and then you get this pullback here at 50%. Body's sitting there, and then it's higher, low all the way. But look at the difference in price action. All right, you didn't even get a bullish imbalance here until this one, which is more of a deeper discount. But I mean, there's one right there, and so on. But I mean, it is what it is. Real close to that breakout shit right here, dude. So this is going to be interesting from here. I'll tell you that. So it's, in a way, it's neutral, and we're bullish neutral, but with being careful of the volatility and the rug pull, right? So I don't. There's nothing else to say. I mentioned this. I've even showed, again, a huge response. So it's not like we didn't get like a big response. We did, right? So that's what's in this conversation here. So God, I'm missing something. I know I'm missing something. Um, but you're not getting price action coming down. It's coming up, right? I feel like I'm missing something, man. I know I'm gonna miss something, but I've talked about all that, the wicks, and I talked about the ranges. I talked about the projection here. We came into the 101.5, and then we pulled back. So this is kind of like a sweet spot here with that liquidity of equal highs. You guys take care. God bless. If we're bullish.